just trying to grab an afternoon's fishing. Chill out, done all the jobs, done all the work. I just fancy some fishing. Now, undoubtedly, if I fish in the margins, I could catch him at Watmore. So it's really good in the margins, late in the afternoon, say, just before dusk, like say 4 till 6 this time of day, this time of year. It's breezy. I want the wind on my left shoulder, so I'm going to be fishing with feeder and quiver tips. Probably use my golf ball feeders, and I'm going to be throwing them out just using pellets for bait. I've got hardly any pellets, but I'm going to temper that, or balance that, with the fact that I'm going to be using some of my secret Rapta oil, the purified version. If it's not spilled over or the lids come off, I'll be able to show you, because if there's it's like oil in it, fish oil, it is fish oil, then it might help. And you'll probably in this ripple be able to see when the feeder impacts, the amount of oil comes off it. I've no idea whether I will catch on it because I'm going out in the deep. I'm working that this hot weather we're getting, basically coming through now, might put the fish off a little bit. So I'm trying to get in just before they go off the feed. Fingers crossed I catch you something. Generally middle of the day like this, not great. It's about 2:30, 2 o'clock. I call that middle of the day. That's the time I start work. I've got left to right blowing here. I could go over there and put an umbrella up. But listen, if I tuck myself in here, and I've got my rig here, look, there's a ring there. I can put that, because you can't put rod rest in there. I can balance a rod there. I can balance a rod there. I've actually adapted that one down there, if you can see that, with tape and a ring, so I can fish a couple of vertical rods up here. Quiver tips nice and high. Well, let's see if one folds over. Let's get the ground bait mixed up. Got a mixture of ground bait, the Old Bailey's #1. Look, I've got many pellets, wow. But to temper that, I've also chucked a bit of other mixed up sweet smelling ground bait in there. You won't see it, this sort of browny black stuff. I'm not a sort of great lover of it, but it does have a bit of a smell about it. I know sometimes guys do really well with the black ground bait. So I'm going to mix some water in here first, and here it's now mixed up, but when I put it in, it's separated with it, solidified down here, and that was absolutely pure, like sewing machine oil. I'm going to put some of that in when I've mixed it up. I haven't bought that much because I've, got about 3 hours, 4 hours fishing. Well, that depends on what the fish. It depends on the fish. And wifey said, I'm not going to do your dinner till about 7:30. Okay, fine. Don't overwet it. I always say that. Difficult for me because I want to get fishing. I want to get it in the water. And the Bailey's especially does take a bit of a while just to sort of draw in that moisture. If you mix it too sloppy, it's going to come out the feeder if you're cast a long way. You can afford to get away with mixing sloppy if you're fishing like down there and you're not casting. This is starting to clag up nicely. So we just leave that as it is. I will put into that no more than a smidgen of pellets. Got it all stirred up, a bit of everything, and into that, if I can get the top off, my God, it's frozen. Got it. Some of this oil. That's enough. A little goes a long way with this. Gonna get it. I should have stirred out my fingers. Oh, 17. A lucky peg. I did wonder, was it 71? Now that bit of oil, I can smell it already. Reminds me when we were kids at school. Mum used to give us cod liver oil capsules to take. They were disgusting. Does anybody remember that? Very breezy today. I don't know why. It's a high pressure coming in. But it's very, very breezy. Now that's gone well. I'm going to put a claggy ball down the margins here. As always. You never know. If I blank out deep, then I've always got a backup, haven't I? Close inshore. Inshore, Graeme? Are you going beach fishing? I'm waiting to go sea fishing actually, waiting for the wind to go down. So I'm just going to drop this just literally down there. The rest will probably go in about 5 or 6 pellet balls, and the rest can go in with a feeder. I don't know what's going on because I haven't fished a swim feeder. I put 2 balls in. I kid you not, it's black with carp. It's absolutely riddled with carp. Is it that fish oil I've put in there? Look at them. I've never, in all the time I come to Watmore, seen it like that. That's ridiculous. I'd say there's 8 fish there. It's not good for me as a margin fisherman because I was going to do this on distance fishing with a swim feeder. It's gone straight out the window. Guys, it's absolutely mental. You want to see the fish that are down in there. Literally close, the other side of that board. I'll go in here for small shot there, a banded pellet. This one's banging away up here with a roach on it. Nothing else, nothing else. And I'm just going to lower this down. Check my drag. I know it's going to work. Normally it would be sinking bread flake on the bottom, but they just stirred it up unbelievably. We just sit and watch that rod top for a second. They're all over it. In fact, I can give them a little bit extra there. Unbelievable. They are digging like you wouldn't believe. I'm going to throw this one out again. I'm going to try and keep my eye on that for you. It will fold if it goes. Look, they could be feeding just on the ground, but I think why there's that number of fish just suddenly come in there is somebody was here, because there's a cigarette down there, cigarette end, which the guy hasn't picked up, and I don't smoke. I wouldn't be, I was going to say I wouldn't be seen dead smoking, but you will if you smoke. Yeah, look at those tails. They've stirred it up completely. So I'm just going to wait for my rod to go, to be honest. Maybe I should drop the feeder down there. I'm trying to make a film out there. Maybe I should just put the feeder down there as well. They could be feeding just on the ground bait, and they won't take the pellet, who knows. It's sinking. So that one can just sit there. Now, if I had a piece of bread flake lowered in there, I feel I might get a taste. I've got the feeling they're not taking the pellet. They will take the pellet, obviously. God almighty, how many fish are in there. I'll try and stand up without spooking them. There's a lot of fish in there. Stuck in the bloke. What is that? Is that? I've got one down there. The mud is being kicked up by those feeding fish. But this one's hooked to the tail, I think. As they say in America, I'll take it. If I can get him in, he's going to be tricky to net. He's in. There he goes. A nice mirror. Hooked. Hook falls out. So, quite a nice looking fish, just hooked to the wrong end. Let's get him back. That's how many fish are in there, guys, when you foul hook. And what you do get, unfortunately, everybody gets foul hook fish. It's just the way they swim in the line. If you have a long line out, so like a really long way out, this stretch is, they reckon for, is it every 10 yards, there's so many inches of stretch in the line. Monofilament stretch is 10% apparently, depending what mono you're on. If you're on pre-stretch mono, it doesn't. If you're a long way out, you can put a lot of pressure on and through the bend of the rod. But the closer you get, you're reducing that safety factor of the stretch in the line. So don't keep the same amount of power on close in as you would do out there if you've got a foul hook fish and you're trying to bring it in to get it sorted out. Wow, I don't see me catching anything on this. I don't see me catching anything on his feeder, people. Well, I think what's happened, that guy's probably packed up, dumped some bait in there. I've walked up in the afternoon as people are packing up, as happens, and they just come in on it. Either that, no. I wonder, could it be the Rapta oil? Let's see if we get another one before I start spouting off about it. The other thing you can do, if you don't want to fish the pellet, take the pellets out, shake them out, and just mould yourself a piece of ground bait. Now you might want to get some extra water, because you need a bit of extra water generally to mould it into a paste. I've done really well on paste baits. I've only got a small hook here, but keep that bit back. And of course what I can do then, once I've got it here, I squeeze it around the hook at the back, almost at the back of the hook, like this, slightly flat. I want that point showing, and then I can dip it in the said magic mixture. Who knows if those fish come back. I can't see them not coming back. There were just so many down there. I'll stand up, see if we can't. I can't quite see. There's one mirror down there. See, he's just moved away. Must have just spooked them. There he is, he's coming back in again, so I'm going to see where my bait is. No, he sees the line. So guys, what I do is just lay it down, almost. You can balance there, because I can reach down and grab that. Most unusual way of fishing, but. And then I can fish the feeder rod out here. Let's get that feeder rod out again. Nothing seems to come in yet. I'm sure they will do. I'm sure they will come back. Slightly wayward cast. I might be better off putting a rod rest here. Thing is, the wind's blowing this way, any particles of food drifting in, so really all those guys around that bay should be catching as well, I would have thought. Getting bites on this quiver tip, look guys. I missed him, I think. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe it's a roach. You can see with the rod rest, I'm going to shorten this rod rest down and put another one. Yeah, there's a roach on here, I guess. Maybe nothing. There's nothing. He's had the pellet off, I've still got the band. Now I'm going to swing this out, guys, a little bit farther. There's no carp there. There are so many roach in here. If I put this down, watch that tip, you'll see it pull over. Look, 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 tapping away, tapping away. A lot of roach down there, and I think they're demolishing. But there goes, oh, I nearly knocked it off the rest. Well, I did. I'm just going to swing this pellet out there, outside the swimming off. I put this straight in the rest. Just watch my tip, look, bang, that's a roach grabbing it. Look, look, look. That is how many, look, you can see it pulling down. That's how many roach are hammering into that pellet. And they're taking all my balls of ground bait before the carp can get in there. There's a huge number. Now they might have pulled it off, I don't know. When it does go still like that, sometimes a carp will have moved in and pushed the small fish away. So I always, not too disappointed when I don't see it hammering, because you never know if it's been tapping away like this. Well, that was a bit more than tapping away. If it's tapping away and then goes quiet, it could be because a carp's coming to the swim. I'm just going to put another pinch down. I don't see any carp down there. I'm going to drop that down there and lower that on top of it, just like that. I'm sure they'll move straight in on that, the roach. Feeder out here, just bumping it occasionally. It's not happening at the moment. Not sure why those. Oh, there's carp. Oh, that was one then. That was a carp. You see how I told you it went quiet? Picked it up, blew it out, spooked, and I think there's still one there. It might crash over, guys. I'll just leave the camera running for a second. I did see his tail come out. He's pointed that way, which is about where I am. I just put a little smidgen in there. I'm definitely not going to have enough bait here. He's right on top of that, absolutely on top of it. Just sneak up again, I can't help it. I love seeing visual fish. Yeah, can you see all the ground bait that's stirred up there? He's right under by that board. If I lean forward, you might be able to see him. There he is, just going back. The other downside is, if you've got a ball of ground bait like this, that's hard, that's why I'm letting this actually get dry in the sun to keep the roach away from it a bit, they'll still nibble away at it. But what happens is the carp will come, and if they spook and bump the line, as they turn away, they do this with their tail, right? That stirs all the broken up ground bait that's in amongst the stones, it's hard to get at, brings it up in, oh, nearly, up in the water, right? And then the roach hammer it, so sometimes when they spook and go away, and they do that stirring up, it's not great because all the small fish then eat everything that's in suspension higher up in the water. Is he still out there? Let's put another ball in there, people. Yeah, definitely not bought enough ground bait. What you're looking for is something to just hold it a second or two down. Hold that. See, these are tweaking it and blowing it out. It's too big for them. If one holds it a second or two longer, that's the one you want to be here and pick up the run fast. They're tweaky bites. I'm looking for one that's going to just hold it, maybe half a second or a second longer. Oh, carp down there. Oh, I'm on. That was a roach. This is a Graeme sneaky. If you look at that, you can see the hook is on the band like a hair. So I'm figuring they might just see it. So I'm going to be sneaky and put some ground bait around the line, which will, there's even a bonus pellet in there, just lightly, so as I lower it, it will dissolve. Oh, there's a couple of nice fish down there. Quite a few mirrors down there. Right where my quiver tip is pointed by the water, there's a fish under that. Ooh, I missed him. I think he had it and I pulled out of his mouth. Wow. So there we go, casting further out. You can see with roach this size, they are absolutely demolishing my ground bait and pellets. I've got the line across my fingers as well as watching the quiver tip. Missed that one. I'm making up another half dozen balls now so that the air can dry them and they can... Is that a bite? The air can dry them and it creates a sort of hard skin on them. So I've got a bite here somewhere, guys. Sorry. That might be a roach. That might be a roach. I've got to be careful because there's some big roach in there. There's a fish of some description, unlikely to get perch on there. About a twin of the first. Yeah. I'd say they're slightly thinner than they would be in the winter. In the winter they've got more of a belly to them. They're still, oh, he's in hooked underneath. Still a nice stamp of fish though. Oh, it's touch ledging and I've got a better roach hooked up here. That's a nice fish. Catch all these all on a float all winter. Look at that. That is a nice looker. That was touch ledger in there, guys. So what I'm doing is just swinging it about a rod length out and then holding the line over my fingers. And I tended to get the smaller fish biting on the way down, and as it sat and the bite ceased, then the bigger roach picked it up. There's a stack down there, guys. An absolute stack. Trying to pick out the big ones. That's a lot of fish. I'm touch ledgering, I won't move. I think there's 5 down there. I think they're feeding on ground bait as well. One is surely going to slip up in a minute. There we go. There we go. I guess one would have to slip up. One would have to slip up there. That's where you get what they call competitive feeding. At the end of the day, if they don't make a decision to bite that bait, the one behind them will, and they'd lose it. So once you get what they call competitive feeding, you've got a good chance of getting a take. I figured one would go, there's about 5 in there then. I might get lucky and leave my other feeder one out at the same time. Oh, he's peeling me. Not a big fish, 6s I guess. Very tough. Andy came around, he said another guy who dropped in got one first cast. So they must be feeding. But he did say I needed more pellet. I've got hardly, I only bought hook bait, not enough to feed, so I'm going to run out. But I bought a load of pellet, I might have done horrendously well, but I'm doing okay. The idea is to catch fish, and that's what it's about. Right, I'm going to bring it off because I might be a while. He came in nice and easy, and now he's giving me some jip. Not good on my old wrists. Mind you, I have got a quiver tip rod, guys, not a regular Avon section. The top section of this is just a quiver tip. There's the fish, not a big fish. All acceptable, all acceptable. He's in. Quite a nice sort of dark looking gold here, look, lovely gold scales. Good tail on him. I like the scales there. When he slaps me in the face I won't. Anyway, all going well at the moment for an afternoon session. Right, I've got my pellet and ground bait combo there. I don't think there's any carp coming there yet. Let's just untangle that tip. So I'm just going to flip it out here, touch the ledger and see if I can pick up a roach. So that'll sink to the bottom. The small fish will be hammering away at the ground bait and then discover the pellet on its own, which hopefully a bigger roach will be able to take. So I've got another ground bait ball that has gone nice and hard, so I'm just going to drop that down there quite close. A little bit of loose feeling, let that break up naturally. Let's see if we can get you guys a roach. I'm basically fishing like this while I wait for the carp to come in. If you don't put this little shot on, which could be a BB, number 8, anything, with a wind like this, it will put a bow in the line and it will drag the pellet. It will be enough wind on the line to drag the pellet out of position of where you cast it. Very often a shot will just enough to sink it to the bottom. Just hold it on the bottom. Give it another pinch. You see if you're back on the roach again. You build a good net of these in the winter, couldn't you? Getting some good roach free lining now with the pellet. It's probably the roach of the day, this one. Let's have a look at it. I'm standing around the side to keep out of the sun, but also to keep my shadow line from going over the... Yeah, that's a good big roach, that one. I'm on again, guys, on that pellet, banded pellet, close in. It does seem like there are most little mirrors in there. Strange, isn't it? I haven't seen one really big fish in there, which they're all pretty much the same size. Look, almost in one shoal or one school of fish of that year class, you know, if that makes sense. Like we used to catch sea fish in bass or pollock there, particularly year class. He's right out there, look. There he is. On the top. There's about 4 or 5 fish in there then. So I'm doing okay with the roach. Getting regular roach. If I just go out half a rod length, I'm doing okay with the roach. Now this one comes up on top like that. That smacks of one that's wrapped up in the line or something. Unusual. You could try and maintain that same type of pressure on it, but he might ping off. What a way to spend a nice afternoon. And it's going to get very hot at the weekend. By the time you guys might see this film, it might be the weekend. Oh, tell a lie, it's not a bad one actually. It's coming in a bit peculiar, I have to say. Ooh. Well, he's coming in really tight to the margins now, so I've got the rod laying right over. I think I've got him turned out. There, he's turned out now. Taking a bit of line, as should happen. I'm waiting for the new line to come. Because this stuff's been dragged backwards and forwards over the rings for the last 2 years. And Mike's ordered it online. It's supposed to be next day delivery, but it doesn't appear to be at the moment. So I'm working away with the old line still. Some people change line a lot. I don't know, do they change a lot? I don't know. Look at this fish down there, guys. I'm playing a fish, right? Look, can you guys see if I keep dead still? There's a carp right there. He's coming for some more of that Rapta oil. Come on, Mr. Fish, come on, let's see you. Oh no, it's a nice fish. Tell a lie. That's much bigger than I thought it was. I'm not gonna deny. That's a much nicer fish. Wow. No wonder I had so much trouble with him. Ooh, he's still going. He's woke up. I nearly had him by the net. Let's try him the other way. He doesn't like it. Very often you can change pressures. Look now. Change pressures, they don't like it. Whichever way he pulls, you apparently should pull the other way. There we go. We might have a chance. Oh, he's got his head down again. No, he's seen the net. There he is, he's in. Ooh. A fat one, a fat mirror. I'm going to call him the other side of 8, I think. Really nice fish there. Look, no big carp rods, just an Avon quiver tip rod. That's all it is. Let's get him back. Away he goes. Well, I'm plugging away with the old golf ball feeder, which I know works. Further out, but just roach. Just roach. I will put a little bit of oil in there for you. This might just perk them up a bit as well, if they need perking up. There you go. You can see that Rapta oil on the surface. It's all natural fish oil, and that should hopefully bring in maybe one more fish, which would be nice. And then home for tea. I mean, I'm actually sitting down. I'm actually waiting for the sun to go around because the shadow line, if you can see it, is halfway across what I call the swim here. So it's light and it's dark, so I haven't got, my eyes can't get used to the light or the dark. The feeder out there is had one huge bang. I mean, there's a fish still there, look. She's gone out again, I feel. If I use a little bit of ground bait up I've got, together with these harder balls of ground bait, I think I'll get one more fish out of this if I'm lucky, but it's windy. Very, very windy, and it's quartered, it's what we call quartered when we see fish gone from there round to here. It's coming in my face more. Anyway, well, I've seen some down there now. Trouble is they've stirred it up so much I can't see them when they come in. Don't want to lean out too far. There's no shortage of fish digging and rooting. I can't tell you how many is down there, people. How they're not seeing that bait. Surely one's got to trip up. I'm thinking they're on the ground bait and that fish oil on it. Oh, that one isn't. He's got it. He's got it. Felt that touch legend. Quite a decent fish, this one, by the feel of it. Right, I put the drag on. This is what I do, filming. I'm going to try and get this other line out of the way. I'm still peeling line out. That, I think, is this side, yeah, I'm clear there. Now I'm okay. It's always a risk with barbless hooks, but at the end of the day, if you just put a foot on the rod or sit on the rod, you've got a chance. Clear the other line out of the way is always safest. Wouldn't surprise me if there's other fish down there coming while I'm playing this one. It's that time of the evening. I went to ground bait paste, larger hook, first drop in, hook up. I figured they were on that ground bait because I wasn't getting the takes on the pellet all the time. There's another mirror. It's the evening or afternoon of the mirrors. I'm going to drop the microphone just so I can go and get the net. There we go, guys, a real lump. Dripping all over my chair and the microphone. It's about 8 pounds. Ground bait paste. Well, they're getting trickier, folks, no question of that. The wind's picking up so I can barely see the line tweak. And they're not like, oh, I've nailed all in that. They're not like really ripping off with it. Put that down there. They're tearing off, the line pulls tight like that. By the time they've gone, say, 6 inches, they blow it out. So you get like a tap, that's all you're getting is a tap. I'm not going to have to pack up. I have literally a couple of baits left. I've made ground bait paste. I should have gone to ground bait paste sooner. I had that feeling. I did mention it, I think, earlier on in the film that they could be feeding on the ground bait paste. Or not the paste, the actual particles of ground bait. And so it's been proved, I feel. Good session though. I mean, I dare say if I float fished out there, that's about 4 or 5 pound, I think. If I float fished out there with a waggler float and a tiny piece of paste bait, I see it's a roach a throw, honestly. Nice sized fish too. This one looks about 4 pound-ish. Just got to be there at the right time. Here at Watmore, late afternoon. Margins. I wouldn't be going home too early. I'm only going home because I run out of bait. I'll switch off till I get him on the map, boys. Well, it seems to be mirror carp all the way. There you go, another great Watmore fish. Closing in the margins. We'll see you in the next film. Don't forget, hit the subscribe buttons, both channels, TA Fishing, TA Outdoors. We'll get this guy back. And fingers crossed we have as much success in the next film.